Hello everyone, welcome back to Spinning Iris. I've been planning on doing this pretty much since I started this particular channel. I've been knitting for roughly about 15 years and have acquired 44 knitting books, one of which I got a couple days ago, and one of them is an unfortunate double. And what I've wanted to do is do some in-depth book reviews on these particular knitting books. Why? Once upon a time I had no interest in knitting. One Christmas my mother decided to give me and my sisters these little tools for making what is called an I-cord, which is basically a knitted cord, and that kind of inspired my interest in loom knitting, because the thought of knitting with actual needles at the time was, I don't know, scary or intimidating. I don't know, I just wasn't there yet. So I noticed my mom had a knitting loom kit in her studio and said, hey, can I have it? She said, alright, sure. And so that's how I ended up with these, and ended up with a full set of looms as well. Just because I thought that was so cool, and somehow fell out of that. And recently I went back and looked at one of the books that I had gotten originally and remembered, oh yeah, that's why I stopped loom knitting. So yeah, what I want to do, and this video is going to hold me accountable to do exactly what I want to do with this, and that is, again, do full book reviews on the knitting books that I have. And I'm going to start with probably one of the worst in my collection. Well, worst is probably not the best term for it. What I want to grade with these particular books is the clarity of the instructions. How easy are they to follow? Like, I know most of these are organized by how easy they are. Most of them are for, I guess, intermediate to experienced knitters, but I want to see how well those instructions are written. So that's going to involve me reading every single word and doing almost every project. There's a couple projects I've already done in some books, so I will skip over those and show what I already have of the finished product there. I also want to look at the organization, especially if it's a how-to book or an introduction book, or just general organization on the projects themselves. I also want to grade them on the diversity of projects, like a nice mix of scarves and hats and gloves and wearables and non-wearables and usables and whatnot. Like, for instance, I don't want to see a book about gifts being more than 50% like knits for kids, because I think the majority of knitters are going to be very diverse and not necessarily knitting for little kids. I know at least one of these books that I have is going to get a lot of points deducted for that. Or if it's a book that's made just for different types of scarves or different kinds of socks, like the diversity of, I'll judge it for the diversity of the stitches or different techniques used, something like that. And also for the overall enjoyment, how basically all the elements going into the final grade, sort of like for instance, how many times did I rage over a project throughout, and I will be keeping score on that. How many times I start over on a project, how many times I have to take things apart. I have a feeling that's going to happen. And what I'm going to start with is basically the book that started rage knitting for me. This one, Loom Knitting Primer. I know this is the first edition, and I know this has a new edition out now. I will not be buying that edition, because I am not going to spend $25+ on a book that I already have, and that, judging from reviews on Amazon, has not improved much over the years. So yeah. Unless there's some significant difference that you know of, I will be judging the original edition. And it's going to be torture. I know it is. But I'm going to give it a fair shot and a fair review. And so I'm going to go section by section, project by project, and grade it. So I hope you'll join me on this rage knit adventure that I'm starting for myself. I'll probably do a regular knitting book after this one, but this is the one that's going to start it. Yep, every word, every section, in this case, nearly every project in the book. I'll explain later. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And thanks for watching. Take care. See you in the next one. Bye.